When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Skims or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and for shoppers buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/income.
What they did to your family, you're lucky to make it out alive.
Streaming on Peacock.
These men are going to come after me. Taking them out is my only chance.
Put a bullet in her head.
From the co-creator of Ozark.
Looks like a family was running drugs.
Execution-style killing is rare for the Keys. And it leads on who they might have been running for.
The cartel killed my family. I'm gonna kill them. All of them.
MIA. Streaming now. Only on Peacock.
Well, hello. Welcome to Riffs on Riffs, where I was a little surprised by this one because I thought it's a great song. I mean, I love Alicia Keys, but this is not a new track, Toby, and we're really focusing on new music with these latest rounds of episodes. So I'm just why'd you pick this one?
Well, not Alicia Keys. The similar title, Falling by Mr. Chris Brown.
This is becoming a bad habit of mine, just getting the wrong. I do my homework.
People need to start coming up with more diverse song titles.
Yeah. Can we make it a little easier on me here?
Like maybe we should call it Falling with Chris Brown, right? Like Chris Brown's version
that
of
has
Falling.
some connotations that I don't think I mean, if you want to come in hot, start the show, but
no, not that hot, sir. Not that hot. I don't need those kind of
we don't need the smoke.
We don't need the smoke. We don't need the asbestos. We don't need anything close to that. Yeah, this song is Chris Brown's Falling is a single that he just came out with Mr. Leon Thomas. It's the first single from his album, 12th studio album.
Think about that for a second. 12 albums this guy's already got. 20 years of work. And he's, 37 maybe? That's quite a catalog.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is quite a catalog. I mean, he's put in work. And this year actually marks the 20th anniversary for his first album, for his debut album. So if you do the math on that, I mean, that is fantastic. That is great. I mean, and on the show, of course, we talk about some of the personal decisions that some of these artists have made and this, that, and the third. And we don't need to necessarily belabor the point, but if we're speaking strictly on music and legacy, it is undeniable that Chris Brown is certainly a large part of the R&B landscape, along with, artists like an Usher or,
Funny you mention Usher, huh?
Well, it is, and it's, man, it's so cool. You know what? We'll come back to Usher. Let's talk about the song first.
Sure.
And we'll circle back to Usher and everything else. But, first thing I think is important is for us to talk about whether or not we like the song. All right. Whether or not we like the song. What is it? And if you like it, what is it about it that you do like?
I do like the song. So this was one of my random late night, in the speakeasy, just listening to tunes.
Ooh, that's great. That's a great place to listen to it.
Yeah.
That's a great place.
And lately I've just needed that, all right, let's just shut off the world and absorb into music. That's always been a nice place to land. And in this case, I had YouTube on and was just kind of seeing, all right, what's going on visually with some of these new tracks coming out. And so this one kind of came out of left field for me. It was on a playlist, and I was like, all right, let's see what Chris Brown is up to. And it's pretty clear that, I don't know, maybe we can get in. Because I saw the video first, I was like, wow, this is a direct ripoff of Sinners. And that's been the debate on the interwebs is it a ripoff? Is it an homage? Is he borrowing? Is whatever? And we can again get to that later. But having seen Sinners not that long ago, I was like, wow, this is very clearly, and then even musically, it's a great blues track. And when you throw Leon Thomas on there, call it. Like, that's just, you're already there. And so the vibe, I thought, and it is interesting, and I'm kind of wondering if this is part of that, the Sinners influence is, we're starting to see some of that R&B go back to its roots and get back to just the blues. And so I'm like, is this going to be a thing now? Which, I'm here for it, because I got to be honest, the rest of the album, there was maybe 2 or 3 other tracks I was like, okay, but the rest of it was meh at best. And there's 27 tracks, so it's you got to put in some work to get through it. So that's my thought. I do like the song. I think it's well done. Yeah, your thoughts?
I like the song a lot. I like the song a lot. I think it is. I think it is. There certainly is that phenomenon where art mimics life mimics art, kind of going back and forth. And I think you see that ebb and flow, that give and take. And I definitely think that Sinners appealed to that.
Yeah.
And so maybe the song was already in production, before Sinners came out. But
Sure.
I will say that the video visuals definitely, were something to think about. I want to harken back to something that's even before Sinners, and I would say it's more of the Leon Thomas effect, because I think that he is affecting the game as we see it in regards to music. This song is just the most recent track from him, but he also has a song by, I want to say the artist's name is it Baby Rose? Yeah, Baby Rose, with Leon Thomas, called Friends Again. And it is a very, these tracks are from the same ecosystem. It's like, oh my God, this is crazy. And here's a hot take. Not a hot take. We'll say it's a strange take, interesting take, is that there are a lot of AI versions of songs that are made in this type of style and this type of song. Yeah. And I think that Chris Brown, being smart, and so I put it on him, and I also want to put it on the producer, by the name of Rockstar, thought about this, like, hey, why wait for some AI guy to come up with a blues version of a song that we're going to do? Why not just start with that and just beat it? I personally think, Joe, that there are some really very, very well done AI versions, like AI blues versions of hip hop songs that are on YouTube right now. I personally think that a lot of that work is coming from some of these producers that are just going by pseudonyms, right? They're going by fake names and just showing off their musical chops and say, hey, would that work? Would this work? Would this work? And they're trying to gauge the interest and then proceed to actually put real songs on in that style. I personally think that that's kind of what's going on.
So you're thinking basically a lot of these producers, it's like, so back in the day, and probably still, I'm sure it's still, record companies would get a hot act, and then they would immediately say, how many carbon copies can we find out in the world or create so that we can bring more of this to the masses? And so maybe the new version of that is everybody's listening, or AI's a thing. Let's use it and create music and see what the response is. And then if people respond to it, we'll actually make the real thing. But it's super easy to just kind of do it, this fake version, and see if it lands at all.
That's right. The risk is low to test it on the market. The risk is very, very low. And all they want to know is, hey, does this style seem to work? Is the world ready for this? If you think about it, right? This song reached in the first week, it's at number 30 or 31 on the Billboard Top 40. That is fantastic for a song like this. This is totally different from some of the other tracks that Rockstar's produced, especially some of the other songs that Chris Brown has done. I mean, it's
different from most of the songs on this album, even.
Exactly. It's a test. It is a test. And I feel like you adding Leon Thomas to this, like, okay, look, Leon's like, look, I undid a whole album basically like this. Y'all are putting your pinky toes in. I put my whole foot in it. I'm going to show you what we can do with it.
I think you can put just a pinky toe in. I think you got to dip a big toe, right?
Yeah, well, big toe, pinky toe. I mean, it depends on how versatile your
how
toes
dexterous you are with.
We talking about dexterous right now. That's what we talk about. But there was a song. I love when artists come out with something that is just so different from what they normally do. It's just, it does something for me. And I want to say that Rihanna has a song, I think it's called Love on the Brain. That's it. Love on the Brain. Yeah. And is again, another old school blues type hit. And this song came on her album, Anti. It came out of left field for me because it's like, yo, this song is totally different than the song that she does with like SZA or some of the other tracks. Sure. It's like, wow, this is different. But she did such a good job with it. She did such a good job. It's my wife's favorite song, one of her favorite songs. Oh yeah. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. But she likes that, old school blues types. She loves the emotion in it. She loves like all of that. Now, let's go back to this song here. Let's go back to Fallin. Chris Brown he is an artist. He is an artist, and he put the harmonies on this song. I enjoy the song thoroughly. I really, really do. I like Leon Thomas's his verse more. Yeah, sure. I feel like his voice is less processed. It feels. Mm-hmm. I feel like Chris Brown's voice is processed, but I'm not saying that he can't sing. It's just that Chris Brown's going to do he's got a sound that's going to go with it.
Well, let's pause there. Can Chris Brown sing? Like, does he have? I gotta be. I like. For various reasons, I've just never dug into Chris Brown's catalog.
Sure, understood.
And so I don't know. Where does he fit? Obviously, he's talented. He's been around forever. He's sold, 300 million albums or some ridiculous amounts. Big fan base. In spite of whatever else follows him around, people are still listening to this cat all the time. Where would you put him in? Because, you and I were chatting the other day, and you kind of surprised me with this take when you said that Usher is a little underrated as a vocalist. And I had to think about that, and I was like, okay. And so where would you kind of slot Chris Brown in that conversation?
I think Usher is better than Chris Brown. Singing wise, I think Usher is better than Chris Brown. But let me tell you let me say this, because it's what I see or what I perceive is happening, right? I believe that these vocalists, these performers, these artists are a certain way, and they respect other artists that they feel are on their level, right? They're on their level. If you're not on my level, there's no way we're going to get on a song together. It's just not going to happen, right? It's just not. And so,
because you have to vibe, right? If you're going to work on a track with somebody, you have to respect the talent. And you have to have some sort of chemistry where you can co-create together or like land on this in the same place that feels good for all parties. And so, okay, keep going.
Yeah. So with that, I feel that Usher, this is not the first time that Usher and Chris Brown did something together. They did it. They did a song a couple years back, which was actually pretty cool. Really, really cool track. I forget the name of it. I'm trying to look for it right now. But I think that Usher really respects him. I think Usher respects him as an artist, and Usher, I think, is one of the best. And let me tell you somebody else who I think, like, look, I don't care how popular or unpopular you think this cat is, but it's a fact that this dude can sing. The track that I was mentioning before that Chris Brown did was with Usher and Rick Ross. The song's called New Flame. It came out a while ago, about 11 years now. Good Lord, time is just zipping by. All right. But Usher and Chris Brown are getting ready to go on tour together. All right. So that's a fact. They're getting ready to go on tour together, which is a crazy pairing. Crazy pairing. You're talking some of the best showmen of the modern era.
Yes.
Right now. There's no one outside. The only person you could probably put on this show to like make your head explode,
Bruno?
In addition, would be Bruno.
Yeah.
That's the only person you're going to put on the show. Otherwise, you're getting a full show.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're talking these are all three of the artists we just mentioned are all artists that could do residency in Vegas. No problem. No
Some of them
questions asked.
have.
Some of them have, right?
Yeah.
So then on the video, you had Usher in the video, which I thought was cool. You have Chris Brown. You have Leon Thomas, of course, the song's with him. You have Rockstar, who is the producer. And who else do you have? I'm so glad that you asked. You have Tank. Tank is an R&B singer that you may not be familiar with, but there's no question that Tank can sing. There's no question.
Okay.
I mean, he is damn good. Now, if Tank is in your video, if Tank is in your video along with Usher, that lets you know right there.
And
that
Leon's no slouch. I know Leon's a relatively new cat.
Great. Yeah, Leon's great. Leon's great. Like he can sing at any given time. Leon can sing,
and
like
play.
Period. So yeah, I think Chris Brown can sing. I absolutely think he can sing. I absolutely think he can go.
Are there tracks where he's showing off his chops, for lack of a better word, right? Where he's demonstrating the repertoire and the ability to.
Yeah, I think so. There's a song called Take You Down that he does is actually one of my top 3 or 4.
Is that one of the
Chris
Braswell
Brown.
slow jam
tapes? The yes. That on that tape, on that CD, on that zip drive, on that flash drive. Yeah.
The old side quest.
My God. Take You Down is just fantastic.
Okay.
But
all right.
I've also seen him perform live, and I'm like, yep, he can do it. I've actually been to a Chris Brown concert.
Yeah,
I've been
really?
to a Chris Brown concert.
How long ago?
Oh, Chris Brown, let's see, that had to be like 2017.
Okay.
2017.
Okay.
So close to 10 years ago. But let me tell you the one thing that I was amazed. To me, let's see, what album was that? Was that 10? Let's see, 2017. What album was that? Nope, it wasn't that one. Not that album. The interesting thing about that was the fact that he recorded all of the videos basically in a story format, right? So it's like, it's a day, it's a date, it's what happened after a girl dissing him, him going out with his boys and, everything else. I mean, it was pretty cool. So anyways, I was excited to see his performance. I think the album was Royalty. So I was excited to see his performance and to see, because he has so much dancing, a lot of performance. Sure. And man, he wasn't lip syncing, dude. He
was doing it and dancing. He's performing.
And dancing. I was amazed. And the cool part of it, Joe, was the same guys that were in his video were actually on stage rocking with him dancing. Yeah. So it was like a continuation for the story. So if you're familiar with the videos, if you were a fan,
yeah,
you're like, yo.
Yeah.
this is incredible. Everybody, and a lot of people, some cats, this is a Vegas show, right? So it's a residency. So some cats are like, I'm just here as my company paid for it.
Sure. Right.
We didn't have anything else to do tonight. I'm just wandering through. And it's like, well, shoot, I'm over here at Dre's and I heard Chris Brown's performing. Why not? Everyone left there like, yo, he's serious. This is a serious performance. Like, he's a true artist. Like, he's amazing. Yeah. So I give it up. I give it up for him. He did his thing.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the album. So I learned a cool word today, Toby. Have you ever heard the word backronym? So instead of an acronym, it's actually a backronym.
Never heard of that. What is it? Did you make that up?
I did not. I thought I did. Well, no. So it's an existing word or phrase that is later used to unpack something. And to turn it. So Brown is the name of this album, and it's break rules only when necessary. Which was kind of a callback.
Wow. Okay.
Kind of a callback because in 2011 he had Fame, which was Forgiving All My Enemies. So I was like, okay. And here's another fun factoid. So we get the Amber Alerts here in the States.
Sure.
Right?
Where are we going? Where are we going with this? With Amber? Where are we going?
So it was originally named after, I guess her name was Amber Hagerman.
Okay.
But as a backronym, it stands for America's Missing Broadcast Emergency Response. And so you take an existing thing and then you just sort of back into it, essentially, to give it additional meaning.
Interesting. Okay. So fun fact, my stage name as an MC is Haiku. I spell it Heiku. I just wanted to be different. My boy, otherwise known as Fathom, right, from Mentally Unrested and the first version of E.com, he said that Haiku stood for having extensive intellect, knowledge, and understanding. Backronym. There it is.
Boom.
Love
it's a backronym. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to have to do some thinking on what I feel like we did this too with Mojo at some point, but I don't remember what it was. So yeah, this, it's interesting because this album is already, I feel like Chris Brown is polarizing. Like I was,
yeah.
Well, you people are asking about the podcast, whatever. Oh, what are you recording next and whatever. I'm like, oh, we're going to do Chris Brown. And this was a teenager who was like, why are you doing Chris Brown? Like, and then immediately brought up Rihanna and all of that. And so there's just, and all of the other tumult that has followed him since. Sure. So it's not been an isolated thing. And so I feel like there's a large percentage of people who are just like not even paying attention. And then you have, what is he? I'm just looking at this now. This is his 12th consecutive top 10 album. Or no, his last one in 23 was. And so you've got people who are saying this is a great album. It's a great video. I think Pitchfork gave this like a 1.3 out of 10 and said it was a complete piece of, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And so it doesn't seem like anybody has a middle of the road response to him as an artist in general. And sure, you've got some of that influence from his personal life, but I don't know that his music is that polarizing that people will respond to it, that severely in either direction otherwise.
No, I don't think so. For after all of the things that he's done, and then if you say, hey, his music is sexist, it's this, that, and the third, it's,
sure.
Whatever.
Get in line. There's
get it. There's a good chance that he has performed with your favorite R&B artist, or he's done a song with your favorite rapper, right? Yep. So, he's done songs with so many people, right? So it's hard to, I get it. It is polarizing. It's disappointing, his history. He's got issues right now. He was arrested in England in May of last year. So, there's already there's stuff out there, but you know what, man, I feel like there's always a story behind the story, and
Always.
I'm not giving him an excuse, or I'm not giving him an out or anything. It is what it is. I'm just, evaluating the music. I'm just here to talk literally about the music and what the music makes me feel. And the music makes me I've liked the songs I like from Chris Brown. I really like. I
Really?
really
Okay.
like. But the songs I don't like are just like, okay, it is what it is. Like, and after Royalty, I basically took a break from listening to a lot of his music. But there's some really, really good songs that he does. Fine China, Take You Down, Fine by Me. I mean, there's a number of tracks. I'm like, I'm a fan. I love it. And there's other songs that are just really different that he does, and I think this is one of the songs that's different. But he also did one with what was the song called? It's called No Air with Jordan Sparks, and that was another one.
Really?
That was and it was
Because again, those collabs are all over the place.
and that's my thing. It's interesting. It's weird. It's different. It's like, how? Like, how does that
Sure.
happen? And
Yeah.
then why is a song that good and you forget for the 3 minutes or 4 minutes that the
Sure.
song is, if you put yourself in a position of disbelief,
Disassociation.
disassociation, it's like, man, this was good. This was it was a really, really, really good collab, and he's got a number of them. Yeah.
Why do you think certain there is too many artists? There's an infinite number of artists. Sorry, maybe it's not infinite, but who have checkered past, have done various things that are not okay, and we never talk about it. And then there are certain artists that you can't bring them up in conversation without talking about those things. And I have yet to figure out what becomes the why do some people get a pass, an almost a complete pass? Like, we're just never gonna. It's almost like stuff never happened, versus this. And then I feel like, right. And so Michael's biopic is out now.
Sure.
Obviously, Chris Brown, a huge Michael Jackson fan. It's part of the reason why he got into doing this in the first place.
Sure.
The singing, the dancing.
It's obvious when you see his style. That is very obvious, right? I mean, he's practiced. He has modeled a lot of his style to be that. Usher modeled his style essentially. One could argue Bobby Brown. One could,
okay,
could argue that. But when it comes to, and not to say that Michael wasn't a big influence on Usher, but their styles and their vocal quality, I mean, you just look at the textures. It's like, no, Usher is a lot closer to Bobby.
Sure. And
Chris is a lot closer to Michael. I mean, period.
Well, and then you think about guys like The Weeknd who have stated, like,
Sure.
Michael's, and
Absolutely.
very clearly.
Absolutely.
But you would never confuse Chris Brown and The Weeknd ever.
Nope. And you shouldn't. If you did, slap yourself. Like, I mean, period. Like, no, seriously, slap yourself. And if you don't have the heart to do it, just let me know where you're at and I'll slap you for you. There's no comparison. There is no comparison between The Weeknd and Chris Brown. There is no
Chris
comparison.
Brown's never done a Super Bowl. Why is that?
I think it's the politics on that. So here, let me answer the question, at least address the question. And I'm not saying that I'm right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm right. But
I'll say it for you, Toby. Toby, you're right. Before you even say it, I think you're right.
I think it depends on a couple of things. I think it depends on the individual that's actually doing it. Now, what do I mean by that? Male or female? Who did the bad thing, male or female? All right. And it depends on what we're talking about, because no one wants to talk about Miss Ross and her effect on Michael Jackson when he was a youngin'. No one wants to talk about that. Everyone wants to talk about everybody else, but no one wants to talk about her effect on that. And Diana Ross most definitely had an effect on that young man's life, for sure. I mean, he was like 12 when he met Diana, and she essentially groomed him. And if no one thinks that that's, if you don't think that that's weird, that they ended up actually being romantically involved later on, then, you need to talk to somebody. That's number one, right? The other thing I think is, I do think that the style of music for the individual plays a part into it. If we're talking about a hip hop artist, all right, they're going to be looked at a certain way. You're talking about an R&B artist, going to be looked at a certain way. Rock star, I'm not saying that you won't be looked at negatively, but you might be able to get a little bit of a pass, a little bit more of a pass than you would if you were a hip hop or a R&B artist. Some of it might be just straight up racism. Other part just might be, just the spin on whatever's there. And to me, it's just a thing. It's just the way of the world. And it's unfortunate. It sucks. And I wish it wasn't that. I wish it wasn't like that. And maybe I'm extra sensitive to that, being African American, but I am confident if we did a little bit of a deeper dive, it's like, wait a minute, this artist did the exact same thing that this other artist did. And the only difference is the color of the skin. That's the only difference. Same way we could look at saying like, man, this artist right here is getting ripped. And this other artist did the same thing. And the only difference we're talking about is just gender. No one is looking to take what Britney Spears went through. Whatever you think about Britney,
she's been through some stuff.
She's been through a lot of stuff, not some stuff. Let's just say she's been through a lot of stuff. Okay, just in all fairness, man, I've never heard. I personally, and I could be wrong, I've never heard of a male artist's their parents just taking full responsibility for the whole career in their adulthood. I've never heard, like I've heard it with Britney. Like, are you kidding? Like it just doesn't happen on a regular basis. I don't hear those stories, but it happened to her. Why? And so there's these differences that exist. And unfortunately, because of those issues, now man, I feel like I'm talking like to the Bible or talking from the Bible, right? This problem begats another problem, which begats another problem, which begats another problem. It is you continuing the cycle. And it's like, oh, you think I'm bad? You think I'm a bad kid? You think I'm a problem? I'm going to show you a problem. I'm going to show you. Or you think I'm a big problem now? Wait, hold my beer. I'm going to show you a bigger problem. So it just gets worse.
Especially when you're a kid or you've been through some stuff, you haven't matured yet and whatever. This episode of Riffs on Riffs is brought to you by DistroKid, your ultimate partner for taking your music to the next level.
With DistroKid, uploading your songs or albums to online stores and streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music is easier than ever. Plus, you can easily pay your collaborators with splits and send large files securely to anyone with Instant Share.
And guess what else? You can get a YouTube official artist channel for free via DistroKid. You can send credits to stores, and you can use Hyperfollow to promote your release.
DistroKid has everything you need to succeed in the digital music landscape.
But that's not all. DistroKid now offers a convenient mobile experience with the DistroKid app, available on iOS and Android.
With the app, you can manage your releases, track your streaming stats, and even withdraw your earnings, all from the palm of your hand. And for the artists looking to perfect their sound, there's Mixia. With Mixia, you can put the finishing touches on your tracks in minutes, ensuring they sound polished and professional every time.
And if you need to share large files securely with collaborators, producers, or playlist curators, look no further than Instant Share. It's free to send up to 1 gigabyte of files, and your music will stream at the highest quality, making the best impression possible.
So why wait? Elevate your music career today with DistroKid and unlock a world of possibilities.
Riffs on Riffs listeners get 30% off their first year at DistroKid by going to distrokid.com/VIP/riffs on riffs.
This summer, serve up the Cookout Classics, Oscar Mayer hot dogs and Heinz mustard. Grill up a dog, add classic yellow mustard, or loaded Chicago style. We all know it's not a cookout without Oscar Mayer and Heinz.
Because if you're being punished, for lack of a better word, for a crime you didn't commit, or things are being, overblown or whatever, it's like, well, if I'm gonna do the sentence, I might as well do the crime. And I'm using those terms loosely. I don't mean literally.
Yeah.
But it's exactly what you said. It's like, well, you think that's a problem? Well, all right, so be it. Let's actually make it a problem so you can maybe understand what the difference actually is.
Yeah, it's interesting, and and I don't know. I guess since we're we are artists, but we're also men of a certain age, and when we talk to we both have worked with business leaders of all ages, and I can tell you humbly, with the greatest amount of transparency, like, man, as a business leader in the beginning, I sucked. I was horrible. Oh my God, I made so many mistakes, man. I said some things. It makes me cringe now to think about some of the things.
Yes.
And, but the difference was between the things that I said and did, it was in a closed ecosystem, and it wasn't in front of a camera and TMZ journalists.
Man, you know what I just heard, Toby, which just makes me so sad, is that kids don't go out anymore, and they specifically don't go out dancing anymore because everything is recorded. And it's just not worth it. It's just not worth the whatever, whether you're just doing a silly spastic dance on the dance floor because you're having a good time or whatever. Nobody wants to take that risk anymore. And those things that we used to, again, not like we were doing anything crazy or illegal or whatever, but we didn't have that constant thing in the back of our head saying somebody's watching. And not only just watching, but this could become a meme tomorrow. I could be a laughing stock across the country or the globe just for whatever is going on.
That's unfortunate. That's really sad.
It's so unfortunate. And it's affecting, the kids don't want to get married now. They don't want to have kids for sure, because there's just this there's a lot to unpack there. We're not going to do it in this episode, but it does.
We're not? I thought we're pulling an all-nighter. What happened?
I know you want to get back to that Cavs game, my friend. So
not if we're losing. Well, that right now. Well, look, the fear of making mistakes and the continual unrealistic yet relentless strive for perfection has put us in a pickle. You can't win. You can't win for trying. You can't lose for trying. I mean, we're just constantly in this situation. Unfortunately, I feel we're going to have to. It's so interesting. We talk about the state of America, and as far as the level of education that our kids are reaching as we deem, appropriate for their age and for their grade. And we've noticed, like, oh man, people just want things easier. They want things easier. They want things faster. They don't want to read the full book. They want to get the Cliff Notes. And now they want the Cliff Notes of the Cliff Notes, which is like AI, right? So what does that mean? It's like the great dumbing down. I feel that in order for us to get reset, right? In order for us to Control-Alt-Delete, I feel that we're going to have to dumb down public environments like clubs where there are no cameras, there are no phones. Like, in order for us to have an
just like Jeter said, check it at the door.
Yeah, check it at the door. Verde bag, whatever's got to take, whatever it needs. And here's the other thing that I think was interesting, man. So it's so interesting that things are going in cycles, right? So we got this town, this part of town. It's like in another city, they probably would call it like Little Tokyo, but I think in our city, we call it like Sakura, right? It's a lot of Japanese culture in this one specific part of town. We have one of the largest, if not the largest, Japanese population in the state or in this region of the country.
Okay.
Which is fantastic. There's a lot of business between here.
Do you know why?
Because of the because of the car industry.
Okay, got it.
So a lot of, they actually even have a Japanese school here for their kids because they're here basically for 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And then they go back home. So to make sure that they keep up, they are, they have actually Japanese school like on Saturdays. So to make sure that they keep up with, everything, the culture. So it's not a bad transition when they end up going back. Okay. Why do I say that? So this past week, I ended up going to a ribbon cutting for a business that was opening up in that part of town. And right across the street, they have this other business that just opened up, and it's a used book place, right? So used books, right? Okay, we've all heard about that, but they also have manga, right? They also have vinyl and music. So I'm like, here we go. Now, why am I interested? Especially when this place is in Sakura? Why am I interested in finding vinyl or looking through the vinyl?
That's my God, what kind of treasure troves you can find there?
Listen, when it comes to hip hop, especially, there's a lot of Japanese pressings that exist that do not exist here in America. Same thing with jazz. Like there's some versions you would just not
really with
get
a lot
here.
of genres. Yeah, you can get those overseas. Yeah.
So they have. It is so like every other vinyl that I was looking at is Japanese pressing. I'm like, oh my God, dude, I'm about to cry. I'm getting emotional. And then I look and I see they have CDs here. They have hip hop CDs here. All right, let's not get too excited. They didn't have any of the stuff that I really, really wanted, but it brought up an important thing. I was talking to my brother about, Brandon. And so I'm talking to him about hip hop, and we're naming a couple of artists that came out with albums back in the day, remixed, mixtapes and this, that, and the third. Let me give you one. This cat's name is Saigon. Saigon was an underground MC, very, very, pretty popular. So popular, in fact, that, his lyricism was crazy. And you remember the show on HBO called, what was it called? What was that show called? My God. It was a show on HBO, and this guy was actually Entourage. There you go. The show called Entourage. So
Jeremy Piven and
Yep.
Yeah.
So this Saigon actually did a couple of cameos on the show. So that kind of like lets you know, like, oh my God, this dude is like your official. So you can't find Saigon's early mixtapes anywhere. You're not gonna be able to find them.
Why?
Well, a lot of those samples were not cleared.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
Okay.
Yep.
And it was all limited release. Sure. So where are you going to find them? Dude, the only place that you're going to find them, wait for it, is on the modern day vinyl. Wait for it, CDs. CDs are now going to turn into yesteryears or, vinyl.
Sure.
Okay. Because underground, like if you look at our group, e.com, you're not going to find all of our albums online. Our first release, you're not going to find it there. The only place you would find it would be on CD in somebody's closet, and if they were able to make it into MP3s, it's going to be the only place that you're going to find it. Isn't that interesting?
It is, and it's timely, just as another anecdote. So me and my buddy Claude, I've got the big boxes of CDs. And I've always, people mock me for this, but I'm like, how do you not do this? Like they're alphabetized because how else do you find anything?
Yeah, you're alone on that one, buddy. don't alphabetize mine. I should. But you know what? Why should I, Joe? I'm just going to invite you over to my house again and have you do it for me.
I love you, buddy, but no. Nope.
Not going to do it.
That's a whole lot of bourbon sitting in front of the fire.
Oh, I got the bourbon. I ain't got the time for that. If I got the bourbon, go ahead.
This is the thing. So I've got my Discogs collection, all my vinyls, so whatever. But I'm like, I have 3 giant boxes, adds up to 451 CDs. I'm like, there's no way I'm going through Discogs and cataloging each one of these, right? This is where my buddy Claude comes in. So I went, took the box where you see all the spines. Again, when you got 451, they better be alphabetized because you're not finding anything after.
Right.
So I snapped the picture of all 3 boxes, send it up to Claude, and I was like, okay, can you go ahead and create me an Excel file of each one of these releases off of these pictures? And sure as hell did. I mean, and it would flag that it was like, I can't read this spine. I'm not sure which release this is, but that's, maybe 6 in a box of 150 or whatever. And so from there, I was like, cool, let's write something so that we can match it up to the Discogs library. So what would have been, I don't know, probably couple of days worth of work if I had done this manually. It was like a few hours of me and Claude hanging out. And then I was like, cool, now go build a Notion database with everything, my vinyl and my CDs. So now I know what years they are. And then I was like, it's funny you bring up the Japanese because when it tied it to my Discogs catalog, it went with all the Japanese releases. And I was like, no, that's not the actual version. I need the US. I had to rewrite, whatever. So your whole point about there are probably 6 to 10 of those CDs that don't exist online. They're not on Spotify. They're not on, Cuba. They're not anywhere. Wow. And so that's, to your point, like I never thought about it from a mixtape perspective. And then the CDs becoming kind of the new version of vinyl. But that is going to be true. There's going to be, there's going to be CDs that somebody has in their collection. And what I'm wondering is, because it's so easy at that point to just give it to the world. Like if
they're alphabetized and properly labeled. If they're not, listen, Joe, let me tell you about someone that lived in that world. Now, you weren't in the hip hop, like the underground hip hop world. Man, I can't tell you how many CDs I got after a performance or after visiting. People
just handing you things.
They're handing them out. And some of them were good. Some of them were like really good. And some of them were horrible. A lot of them were horrible, if we're being honest. But one of the things, some of it also depends on the type of CD that the music was burned on. If it's a CDR, dude, forget it. Like, there's no way. CDR? Sure. No, there's a good chance that is garbage right now.
There's a
good chance
it's just data.
Nope. It degrades, depending on a CDR. Is a good chance that is.
Well, CDR I thought was just CD recordable. So that's every CD is a CDR. If you're talking about a CDRW, like the rewritable ones, but
those
regardless, it's still just binary data, right? It's just bits, zeros and ones.
It's different.
That's interesting.
It's different from getting a CDR. I can tell you right now, difference getting a CDR and then getting your CD mass produced and not a CDR. Like I distinctly remember that in ordering the CDs. Like I distinctly remember, a difference in price. And
to me, that almost indicates that it's the difference between somebody, back in the day when technology wasn't great for recording in the first place. We were just in the infancy of doing digital stuff. And I'm in my bedroom, I make a beat, I record whatever tracks, and then I've got a CD burner over here. Mm-hmm. And we weren't paying attention to levels necessarily. We weren't there wasn't LUFs and all the things that you have to be aware of now, versus I'm going to send this out to actually be mixed and mastered, and get that back, right? And it is, now that you say this, I had forgotten about this, but back when we did the Cookie Jar album, I have an actual, because we did get it mastered. I have a master copy that is, the case has literally never been opened, because that is the one where, you know, to be mass produced, this is the one that goes. I have a listening copy.
Sure.
But to your point, they're both CDs. Why? Why?
Not all CDs are created equal, homie. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. I have CDs right now where the data has, for lack of a better term, depreciated. Yeah, degraded. And I'm
gonna have to look this up.
Check it out.
Fascinating.
Check it out. Yeah, it's something.
Listeners, if anybody has insight, please hit us up, because this is we have to solve this.
Another thing that I thought was interesting, for circling back to Chris Brown here, we definitely took we definitely riffed quite a bit.
We definitely riffed a little bit.
We really riffed a little bit. Let me tell you, the interesting thing I thought about the Brown CD is the album cover. Okay, the album cover is featuring Mr. Chris Brown in a relaxed prone pose, maybe just laying out on a couch, sprawled.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you know how many times that pose has been displayed as an album cover? But the first person I thought about was Michael Jackson. If you look at Michael Jackson's Thriller cover, and I remember looking at that, then I said, that reminds me of Luther Vandross. Luther Vandross had an album like that. And I was like, that reminded me of Teddy Pendergrass, because he had an album like that. That reminded me of Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie had an album like that. And lately, it was Eric Bellinger, Duran Arner, and Ari Lennox. Ari Lennox? Yeah, Ari Lennox. So all three of those artists have all had similar layouts for the albums. And on top of that, out of all of those, Ari Lennox is the only female. And before you go crazy, it's like, she's the first female. She's the trailblazer. No, she wasn't, because Aretha Franklin did it in 1979 with her album called La Diva. So there's something.
What does this mean, Toby? I feel like there's some Illuminati stuff.
I don't know. I don't know, but all I know is that it's a very popular pose for albums, because that is literally what, 8, 9. That's at least 9 album covers. And I know I'm missing some. There's at least 9 albums.
Well, you know what else is popular from that visual style, Toby, is the old the yearbook photo with the right?
Mm-hmm.
The old fist to the chin. You see that in the business photos now? So
I hate that.
Just because people are mimicking the style doesn't mean it has to.
I hate it. I hate it. I don't like it. I do not approve. Not on the train, not on the plane.
You know what I'm talking about.
I
guarantee
exactly
you're going to see
about
this tomorrow. You're going to be scrolling LinkedIn.
Yep.
And
when
like,
I do, I'm texting you and I'm saying, hey, look, I found this, and I'm blaming you. I'm completely blaming you. I'm going to say.
So do you have to get to a point in your career where you've earned the reclining pose on the album cover?
I don't know. I mean, Duran Barner is a new R&B artist. Now, granted, this brother is killing it. He is killing it. Like, he's doing a damn good job making a name for himself. He doesn't have the repertoire. He doesn't have the reputation of a Chris Brown, certainly not of a Teddy Pendergrass or Luther or Lionel Richie. You don't have any of that. But I think that it's, in a way, it's paying homage to,
sure,
artists of yesteryear. So I appreciate it in that respect, especially when you look at, Ari Lennox's pose and how similar it is to Aretha Franklin. I don't think she's saying she's Aretha. Now, she's got a great voice. Yeah, right. True that. She could. How dare she? But she's not saying that. I think she's paying homage, and it's like, And I think it's a good thing. I love it when artists are paying attention to the visuals, especially for their albums, because most people are getting MP3s or buying their album, their music digitally now, but they're paying more attention to the visuals. And it's like, man, it's important. Otherwise, just have their name on it with the blank, with the blank screen. What are we talking about?
I mean, my next album is going to be kind of an homage to whipped cream and other delights.
Here we go. We talking about Herb Albert.
Yes, we are.
We talking about Herb Albert. Listen, I bought that. I didn't care how the music. I don't care how the music sounded. I bought that album just because. And listen, a listener, if you don't know, listen, go look up the album. If you know, you know. If you don't know, it's whatever. It is what it is.
All right. So, well, we've managed. Wow, we've almost gone an hour here. I love the riffage. So, I was going to take us on a whole other dovetail on unpacking just Sinners, the movie, but,
and what were you going to say about that real quick? What were you going to say?
I didn't really have anything other than I knew once we started talking about it, it would probably be another hour.
Yeah. I mean, I think that one thing I could say about the Sinners album that really was awesome outside of the diversity that was included, outside of the historical accuracy in the movie, outside of like I think the acting that was done to kind of really make you connect.
Wait, is the vampires, is that the historical accurate part?
No, actually, that's not the historical accurate part. The part of like the Asian store owners like that part.
I was just making a joke.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, and there are other parts too. I mean, they actually did some real research. So I enjoyed that aspect of it. But the one thing I think it was cool was I think we are in an age where we want to see more transparency when it comes to our artists. We want to know, hey, can you really do that? Can you really sing like that? Can you really perform like that? I think that Bruno is a great artist, and I think his music is good, but I don't think he'd be nowhere near as popular if he couldn't perform like that on stage.
Yeah, if you can't pull it off, then you become
a joke
at some point.
Yeah, right. And I think that, Chris Brown, circling back to him, I think he's an artist that can actually do it. I think Usher's another one. He can absolutely do it. And I think there's not many artists that can actually pull it off, make it an experience. Now, with all that being said, I think Sinners title, circled back to like that 1930s juke joint type feel. And it's like, well, people didn't mind being hot and sweaty because we're dancing and having a good time.
And there were no cameras.
And
I will say this, you talk about who can bring it. It's Buddy Guy. And when we got to the end of that movie, and I'm watching it and I was like, that sounds like, oh my God, that's Buddy Guy. Right? And I thought it was just going to be, oh, okay, they're going to, I mean, he's a legend in all the ways. And I thought, okay, it's cool. They're paying homage, I always screw that. Homage. To a legend and letting him kind of make an appearance on a stage, almost like whatever. And I was like, huh, they're really just like, and it kept going. And I was like, that's Buddy. Like they made him part of the movie and then a meaningful part of the movie. And like, to me, that was a tying of a thread. If we talk about Chris Brown going back to the blues, you got guys like Buddy Guy who've been doing it for 50, 60, 70 years, whatever it is at this point. It might even be 80 at this point. I don't even know. And to bring that thread forward, tie it up, and then, kind of pay that respects. And then I'm hoping that we have this, I don't know, I would love to see a resurgence of the blues. That would make me so happy. And guys like Leon are just made for these kind of things.
Get ready to get happy.
You think it's coming?
Oh, I more than think. I know it's happening. I think that the blues is all about transparency, of pain,
authenticity and pain.
But of pain and emotion. Sure. I think we're in that point. You have so many cats going to getting therapy right now, more than are talking about it. And what better way to talk about it than in music?
It's how we used to do therapy.
Yeah,
right?
This is it. And you have artists like you have your Leon Thomas who can actually make it cool, make blues cool and accessible. to other people. Now Chris Brown's doing it. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if Usher didn't do something like that. And in a way, and it's not the same, but in a way, like, man, artists like Olivia Dean and some of the others that are coming, she's not blues, but it's artists that can get away with performing on big stages with orchestras and everything else. And these are same artists that can also get away with performing on small stages in intimate settings and really, like, metaphorically, touch the audience. Like,
man, I
think
saw
you can get that.
Buddy Guy in Chicago at his place. I don't know, a long time ago.
Sure.
And that's it. Like, it's exactly that, because you can play in front of a huge audience with all of the accoutrement and command it and own it. And it's a same but different experience to be in a small club, especially the blues. I feel like that just specifically is made for those kind of intimate club experiences. Not that you can't pull it off in a large stage, but it's just a different vibe.
I think the blues, I've talked to a lot of folks that, I know a lot of folks that love country, and I know a lot of folks that hate country.
Sure.
I know a lot of folks that like great music, but when I ask them to list the genres of music, they don't mention the blues. But when you hear real country music, and when you hear real blues music,
which are pretty darn similar, truthfully.
And when you hear, like, real, like, gospel, there's I don't care if you're a believer or not, something will move inside.
Something will move.
Absolutely. You moving in one way, shape, or form. And so it's real music, man. It's real music. That's the other part about Sinners that I really liked. It's like, man, the Irish song that they did, like, in there, I was cool. Like, I felt I was moving to that, and I'm like, this is what I've never heard this song before, but I'm
it's the same
moved.
thing. You see a real bluegrass band, which is, not my favorite genre, but that'll get you.
It'll get
right?
you. It'll get you. Can't help
Irish, any authentic representation of cultures in different times and places and styles. Like, when you hear the real thing, you're like, oh, because it just sucks right into that, what makes us all connected as humans in that experience. And it's just different layers that kind of cover that, but it's the same lifeline.
Yep. When you hear the real thing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed our conversation today about this artist, Chris Brown, his new single, Fallin, from his 12th studio album called Brown. What was the backronym again for that?
Hold on. The backronym is, I've got it up here, break rules only when necessary.
There you go. We really hope you've enjoyed the conversation with us. We hope you enjoyed the riffs that we did, we performed, whatever. And hey, if you like it, please like, subscribe, do all the things, leave a comment, let us know how you're feeling. We are looking to come to a city near you. We would love to come to a city near you and have these type of conversations, but with the audience. I would love to hear conversations with the audience, have these conversations with the audience so we can, learn from each other and find out what the people, what the masses are actually feeling, what they're thinking. So, hey, if you're feeling like that, get in contact with us. You can find us where? Well, you can find us on YouTube. I tell you that. You can find us on Instagram, riffsonriffs.com. Riffs on Riffs, on Instagram, riffsonriffs.com is our website. I don't know what else to say outside of keep listening. Huzzah.